Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another video by me, Copium Impact, or Capybara, if you follow me on Twitch. So this video is going to be different. It's going to be more of a personal video that I wanted to make that is unrelated to Genshin, unrelated to, I guess, just video games as a general, and unrelated, obviously, to, the content that I'm pretty well known for, which is, just clips and videos of Zyok streams. Um, so today it's sort of more of a little bit of a reflection video, in a sense, where I'm gonna be talking about, something that I experienced and just, getting my thoughts out there and sharing what my reaction is and what I, think about the topic at hand. Um, so if you are someone that, watches my streams or maybe you've, seen any of my Twitch VODs, you may know that I am a big fan of this, basically this YouTube channel, this group of content creators by the name of Trash Taste Podcast. And so Trash Taste Podcast, it consists of three members, right? There is Connor, there is Garnt, and there is Joey, right? Um, and I think that this, collection, this group of content creators that have created the Trash Taste podcast, they're very likely my favorite YouTube channel that I binge watch and that I view on YouTube. Um, and, you know, they have been doing, I think, for the past, I want to say the past month or maybe 2 months, they've been doing a live tour event around the United States, around America. And, they've been going to different cities on different days, and they've been sort of holding this event. And I don't really know if there's a proper way to classify it or categorize it. I would say that, it's basically a live version of the Trash Taste podcast that you see videos of on YouTube, except for it involves a lot more, audience and fan interaction, and it's kind of a mixture between their typical standard podcast and what could be described as a comedy event, right? And so I have been a big fan of Trash Taste for quite a while now, and I love the content that they put out. So obviously, if I could have the opportunity to attend the live tour, I absolutely would. And that's actually what I ended up doing. I ended up purchasing 2 tickets um, to the live tour event that was in my local area. And I thought that, I would take someone along with me, like maybe my brother, right? Um, or I could, find someone that wanted to tag along with me. However, unfortunately, my social circle is not the biggest, and I don't have a whole bunch of friends that I keep in contact with nowadays. My I would say my social circle is very limited and very exclusive to a certain few individuals. Um, and when I, had a chat with my brother, he mentioned that he was probably going to end up being busy during the time whenever the live tour show was going to be happening. And so I ended up reaching out to one of my good close friends that I, have worked with in the past, and they live in a different city. They actually live in the city that the live show was occurring in, but they live in basically the west end of the city, and the event was taking place in the downtown area, obviously. Um, and so we attended the event together, and I have to say, overall, I had a very good time, and I did very much so enjoy the, content and the events that took place during the live show event. Um, but I do have a couple of things that I want to discuss and talk about. And, I the way that I want to frame this is I want to sort of explain it as constructive criticism and something that I could give positive feedback on, or basically just, give feedback on that is meant to help the, the members of the Trash Taste podcast, as well as just to kind of, I guess, educate or share information with other people out there who might be also viewers and or fans of the Trash Taste podcast as well. Um, but before I do that, I kind of want to, you know, uh, just do a very quick, showing of the different things that I got in terms of like merchandise and whatever from the event. So let me move good old Nekozame, little chunky kitty. I'm gonna move him out of the way really quickly. So he's gonna stay right here. He's gonna be in the corner. Um, so right now, I'm currently wearing a Trash Taste t-shirt. This was actually not from the live tour event. I actually ended up buying this online from a different place because of the fact that, one, I'm very, you know, uh, very conservative with my money, and I've been taught to, you know, basically save as much money as I can, pinch every penny that I can in life. And so, you know, when Trash Taste, they showcased what merchandise they were going to be selling, they shared that the t-shirts that they had were going to be sold for 35 US dollars. And they had, the Trash Taste logo design on the front, and then on the back of the shirt that they were selling, they have essentially a photo, or not a photo, sorry. It's basically just a printing of the different cities and the different days when the tour was taking place. And this is something that's very common for a lot of, musical concerts and live events and whatever. Like, if you have a celebrity, or if you have, you know, a person who is some sort of artist that is presenting a live event, and they have merchandise, it's very common to have designs like that where they have, a sort of brand logo, and then on the back they have the, locations and the dates of when the tour took place and where they took place. And I don't know about other people, but for me personally, I'm not a big fan of the design. The reason why is because it seems like something that would be mass produced for a huge, wide, generic audience, but it doesn't feel personalized. It doesn't feel like something that, is special, that I own, that nobody else has, right? Um, I think it would be a lot more desirable if the design would have, like, maybe it had the city and the dates on the back of the t-shirt, but for every, specific city that the Trash Taste podcast traveled to, the t-shirts were slightly different. So, like, let's say, hypothetically, for example, if, I don't know, maybe you attended the live event and you were in California, right? It would, on the back of the t-shirt, it would say, blank city in California on this day, and, during this part of the year. And it would have that information, and then if it were more personalized, it would maybe highlight the specific location where, where you specifically picked up the t-shirt. And it would have it, like, highlighted or bolded or underlined, something to show like this was the place where I got the t-shirt, and this was where I attended the event, right? And here's proof, right? Um, I think that would have been much better, but overall, I think that another option would be either just don't have anything on the back at all, just remove the design completely, or come up with a different design that doesn't involve, tour locations and tour dates. That's just kind of my own personal opinion. And so I didn't end up buying a shirt from the from the official event, merchandise store, right? I ended up buying this online, and this shirt cost me in total, after like all the shipping and fees and whatever, it was a total of $21 as compared to $35 for the shirt at the live event that I personally was not a huge fan of, and I didn't really love the design of. So I got this shirt. I wore it to the event, and I was very proud and very happy to kind of rep the logo of Trash Taste. Because I'm a big fan of their content. What I have here is I have a lanyard, right? And it has basically the Trash Taste Tour written on the neck, the necklace part. And then for the lanyard itself, I actually ended up purchasing VIP tickets because I thought that VIP access was going to be something super duper, special and unique and sort of a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? And another I guess another reason why I ended up buying VIP tickets is because when when the tickets officially went on sale, I noticed very quickly that a lot of tickets were getting bought really, really fast. Like, there were a whole ton of people that were interested in attending the event, and I think at the very least for the VIP, you know, um, specific tickets for my location, um, those tickets sold out very, very quickly. I'm sure that eventually the standard admission tickets, those sold out as well at some point, but for VIP, it definitely was, getting bought left and right. And so essentially what happened was, I went to I actually used I think the mobile app, to buy the tickets. And I clicked on some VIP ticket seats, and because I saw that, so many people were kind of trying their best to secure them and reserve them, I decided to go ahead and buy two tickets for myself, right? And yeah, so like I said, I ended up attending the event with me and another friend of mine. Um, this friend of mine, he had a good time and he definitely enjoyed the content that was presented during the live show. However, I feel like, unfortunately, the experience was not really the absolute best. And the reason why is because this friend of mine, he was not a like he was not a regular viewer, and he was not someone who was familiar with Trash Taste at all. He was basically, walking into this live show completely, um, you know, unaware of what to expect and what type of content would be presented during the live show. Um, and I feel like if he were more of a more of a fan and more of a person who understood the sort of Trash Taste podcast and the background of these content creators and whatever, I think he would have had a much, much more enjoyable time, just like I did. But unfortunately, you know, um, it is what it is, basically. Um, so yeah, we basically got VIP access. This is the lanyard that I was given for it. And then there were basically three other things that I got, right? So first of all, these two things, they were given along with the VIP tickets, right? So the first thing here is what seems to be, and correct me if I'm mistaken, like I could be dead wrong, but I believe this is a Polaroid. Basically, it is just a very fancy image of the Trash Taste Boys. So you've got Joey, you've got Garnt in the middle, and then you've got Connor there in the gray shirt and the baseball cap there. Um, so this is a really cool photo, and I very much like it. I'm not at all not at all disappointed or upset with it. I don't have any complaints about this. Um, I will say, just like to preface, I I'm really really sorry, but I cannot really tell at all whose signature that is. I don't know if it's one of the boys, if it's Joey's, or if it's a mixture of multiple signatures. I'm pretty sure it's just one of the signatures from one of the individual guys. But for the life of me, I can't fucking read it. So apologies for that. I know I'm letting you guys down, but yeah, so this was one of the things that came with the VIP ticket. And then another thing was right here. So this is a VIP enamel pin, a pin badge. You can see the back, right? So it's a pin badge that they gave. And I believe like this is this definitely is not your typical, flimsy plastic cheap pin badge that, you might see uh like school kids have or whatever, right? Like this is some pretty good material. It I don't know if it is, but it feels like it is kind of metal or some sort of, material that's very tough and hard, kind of feels like metal. And it's very nice. So it's a gold pin. They were actually, they at the merch store that they had, they were selling enamel pins, but the ones that they were selling were just the generic Trash Taste logo, and it was basically just a white trash can, right? And because I got the VIP ticket, the pin badge that I got, it was supposedly like limited edition, right? And it's gold instead of just the typical white and purple. So yeah, and then last but not least, this item was something that I actually had to pay for, and so I did not really know going in. I did not know what exactly the price was for this. I just knew that it was something that, you know, was going to be sold and was not given out for free. It is basically a signed poster, right, of all the three guys. So, you've got Joey, Connor, and Garnt, their signatures on there. And then yeah, it basically has the dates and the cities, right? The locations where they went on the tour. And so this is really cool. I really like this. I enjoy it. I think that it'll be, something that you can maybe frame or hang up on your wall. It's definitely a very, very cool memorabilia for the event. I will say though that I think um, it is it is quite unfortunate that this was something that you had to pay for, especially the fact that like even buying a VIP ticket did not get you one of these for free or at a discount. um so for that specific poster, right, the signed autograph poster, they charged $30 for it, and I got two of them because I have a friend of mine. You may or may not be familiar with who they are, but I've mentioned them a couple different times previously during streams and VODs. This friend of mine is someone who, unfortunately, they moved to a different state recently, and they aren't like regular consistent viewers of the Trash Taste content, but they are familiar with Giguk or Garnt, and they do enjoy watching the Trash Taste content, when they have free time. Um, and so, I asked them whether they wanted one or not, and they said that, it's perfectly fine. They don't want to, have me kind of buy this for them and have me carry it around for them until they're able to take it. But I decided like I wanted to be a good friend, and so I bought one for them, and I plan to give it to them the next time that they, are in the local area and they visit. Um, yeah, so now let's kind of get to the segment where, I talk about, I would say, the positive and the not necessarily negative, but the I guess unexpected, or the um maybe the mediocre parts of the event, right? I like again, I want to emphasize this and I want to stress this like as much as I possibly can. This like I am not upset or mad or disappointed or, anything really with the Trash Taste Live tour, right? Um, I you know, I have thoughts that I want to share, but at the same time, I also am trying to look at this from the perspective of, Joey, Connor, and Garnt, who are hosting the live tour and who are putting in work to, travel to these different places around the US and to deliver good content to everyone. Um, so, you know, I want to preface this by saying I love Trash Taste Podcast. I love the boys, like I have um no hatred or no dislike about any of them, and I don't really have anything against the content that they do, or and also like I don't have anything against, how they decided to do the live tour. Um so what can I say about the tour event? Basically, this is kind of how it went down, right? So, for the VIP kind of treatment, right? What happened was we VIPs were allowed to enter the theater and enter the venue earlier, much earlier than the rest of the, standard admission folks. If I'm not mistaken, the doors opened for VIPs at 6:15 p.m. My local time, and the people that had standard admission tickets, they had to wait until roughly around, I think, I want to say 7 p.m. or maybe 7:30 p.m. to enter the theater and enter the venue. Um, so what happened, right, was uh, when the VIPs entered the theater and, got to sit down and, kind of relax and hang out in the theater, the three boys, Joey, Connor, and Garnt, they held this very casual, very chillax, very, um, you know, very just, informal question and answering event, like this Q&A session, right? And basically what would happen is, different people would raise their hands, and then a person with a microphone, a stage microphone, they would walk around and they would hand off the microphone to a person and let them ask a question directed towards the gentleman. Um, and that was pretty cool. I do think that that was a good, um, you know, a good part, a good aspect of the live show. Um, Unfortunately, I personally did not get to ask a question to the boys. I did not get lucky and did not get chosen to be handed the microphone. However, my friend who I came with, he was able to ask a couple of questions for another person. So my friend, he mentioned to me, he was like, oh yeah, so I have a friend of mine whose daughter is a fan of Trash Taste. And apparently the daughter of this friend, she is thinking of getting into like YouTube and content creation, all that sort of stuff, right? And so my friend, he was asking questions on behalf of the person who could not, attend the event and was not there live. Um, and so, yeah, that was pretty neat, pretty cool. But that was basically it. The Q&A session, it happened and then it ended. Um, and after that, there was basically an hour, like a time period of 1 hour where sort of the Trash Taste Boys, they went behind the stage curtain and they, disappeared to prepare for the live show. And yeah, after that, an hour passed, and then everyone kind of walked into the theater and found their seats and sat down, and the live show began. Um, One thing that, you know, I was I expected this to happen, but at the same time, you know, I think that it was a mistake on my part. I do think that I sort of overestimated the, I guess, the options that I had or the choices that I could make when I attended this event, right? So basically, to explain, I looked at this live tour event, this live show, as kind of similar to what would happen at a like an anime convention, for example. Like you think of New York Comic Con, you think of San Diego Comic Con, you think of TwitchCon or um, any of the other like very popular, well-known conventions that happen across the U.S. I thought that this live show was going to contain similar elements to that of a convention, right? And so one of the things that I did, and I still managed to find a way to, complete it and to actually do it, although it wasn't in the way that I intended, was I basically chose a couple of very quick and very simple gifts to give to the boys, right? So I found a gift for Connor, I found a gift for Joey, I found a gift for Garnt as well, and I brought the gifts with me, and I was hoping, right, like my ideal scenario was that I would get to, maybe say hi to the gentleman, and I would be able to hand them the gifts, right, one by one. Unfortunately, I definitely did not think it through because I completely forgot the whole concept of how these boys, whether you consider them to be or not, or whether they consider themselves to be or not, they are sort of celebrities, right? And they are very like very special people that you know don't really have the time nor the capability nor the energy to like interact with all the different fans and all the different attendees of this live show. And so what ended up happening, right, is there was a person who was sort of acting as the announcer on the microphone, um, who sort of opened the live tour show. And this announcer, they were a staff member of the theater. They said, you know, if you have any um, gifts or presents for the three dudes, bring them to the merchandise table and hand it off to a theater staff member so that they can, basically facilitate the transfer of the gifts um, to the gentleman. So I was able to give the gifts, but I wasn't able to give it directly to them. It was very, very indirect. To kind of explain what I gave, right? Because I can't really show it. I don't really have any pictures or video or anything like that. So for Garnt, I had this it was like it's kind of one of those cheap prize figures that you would find in a Japanese crane game. I had a prize figure of Asuna from Sword Art Online, and I gave that gift to Garnt because, there is this sort of this joke or this like meme with the Trash Taste podcast about how Garnt has watched every single season and every episode of Sword Art Online. Like he has consumed all the Sword Art Online content, and so it's kind of a sort of a joke, right? A Trash Taste joke that Sword Art Online is one of Garnt's favorite animes out there. So I basically gave that to Garnt, and then for Joey, I had a Nendoroid figure, and if you don't know what that is, a Nendoroid figure is basically a kind of a very cute, tiny little chibi model of a character, right? So it's kind of like a, I would say, half figure, half like action, movable action figure, right? So it's like kind of half statue, half movable action figure. Um, and instead of it being like, a very well designed full figure of the character from head to toe, it's essentially a tiny little chibi version of the character. And think of it sort of, kind of, but not really, like a Japanese bobblehead type thing, except for the head doesn't bobble. It's more of just a figure that you can kind of move the arms and the feet around and position it in cool different stances, right? Um, so I had a Nendoroid of a character that is from the anime movie called Your Name, and if I'm not mistaken, the character's name, it is the main female lead protagonist of the movie, and I'm pretty sure her name is Mitsuhara. Um, I could be mistaken, but I'm like 95% sure that it's Mitsuhara. So I had a Nendoroid of her, and to be honest, I have no idea why I actually bought it in the first place. I bought it such a long time ago, and it's been kind of, sitting in my figure collection for a little while now. So I gave that to Joey, right, because it was, I think the best gift that I could think of that would fit him, like that would be, kind of catered towards Joey and, who he is as an individual. And then for Connor, I actually gave two different gifts. One of them was more of a smaller gift, and then the other one was more of a regular normal gift, right? So the first gift that I gave is I actually had a scarf that I, kept with me with, all my clothing. This scarf, I think I got it for free whenever I attended a convention during the past. I think it was maybe a couple years ago or something. I attended some kind of event and I got this scarf for free. It was in a goodie bag, right? And the scarf is apparently like themed after JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is a very popular, very well-known anime, and it is one of Connor's favorite animes that exist out there, right? He is a very, very big supporter and fan of the JoJo kind of story, right? So I gave that scarf to him because, one, it definitely fits him, like thematically, and two, I personally do not watch JoJo's, and I am not a big fan of the franchise like Connor is. So I had zero use for the scarf, so I was like, you know what, let's just give it to him because, you know, he would actually, I think, you know, get some usefulness out of the scarf compared to me. And then the other gift that I gave him was basically similar to Garnt's. I had a prize figure, something you would find at a typical Japanese crane game arcade. It was a prize figure of Rem from the anime RE0. Um, and at least in my opinion, right? So I am not really a fan of RE0. I think that the story is quite mediocre, and the characters, there is um, probably a couple different characters throughout the anime that are very, very crappy characters. Like they just are characters you feel hatred for, and that you strongly dislike and despise. And one of those characters is the main protagonist, right? So the main protagonist, I very, very much so have a hatred for him, and so therefore I do not really like the anime at all. But that being said, the character Rem from RE0, she is, I think I would consider her to be the sort of the best girl of the franchise. Um, she's someone that I think is very, you know, very kind, very wholesome, very likable, and you know, I feel like she deserves, you know, a happy story. And in all honesty, I think that, you know, she is kind of getting screwed over by being involved with the main protagonist of RE0, but that's, you know, a whole other topic that I won't even dive into, you know, I won't even go into any more detail on that topic. Um, those were the gifts that I brought with me, and I was able, I think, hopefully successfully to, you know, kind of pass it along to the boys. I'm not entirely sure if they will, you know, receive it, and if they'll, you know, be able to appreciate them. But yeah, no. So that was something that, you know, was a little bit unexpected, and it happened during the live event, and I had to deal with it. Um, yeah, and so I think there was, yeah, I think there was probably only one other complaint that I have about, you know, the experience, and this is, I keep, you know, having to refrain from kind of speaking about it in such a negative manner because, you know, again, these are things that I'm nitpicking about, but they're not things that ruined my experience, and they did not really like negatively affect me in such a, you know, such a noticeable manner, right? So these are some of the other things that, you know, I can kind of nitpick about and I can talk about, right? Um, I think the main thing is that, you know, um, I mentioned about how I kind of expected, walking in, I expected the live tour event to go something a little bit kind of like an anime convention. Um, and, you know, what I mean by that, and this is primarily because of the fact that I bought, you know, VIP tickets, right? I was kind of expecting that there would be a designated time during the live show, or maybe not even during, but maybe before or after the live show happened, you know, the main event happened. I was expecting there to be, you know, the ability to kind of say hello to the three boys and to kind of chat with them, you know, shake their hand, get an autograph, get a picture, something like that, right? Kind of typical things that you would see at an anime convention or you would see at an event with, you know, normal, regular celebrities. Um, Unfortunately, that didn't happen at all. There was no autograph signing session. and there was no, you know, there was no opportunity to take pictures with the boys, which was very, very unfortunate. And you know, I do think that it was, you know, a missed opportunity, you know, for both the, you know, Trash Taste boys as well as for the viewers, the audience. Um, that being said, you know, I'm going to look at this in a positive light, and I'm gonna, you know, look at this from the perspective of Joey, Connor, and Garnt. I do recognize and I do fully understand that it is, I would say, very, very difficult, if not basically impossible, to organize something such as an autograph signing and or a picture taking session with the amount of, you know, audience members and fans that showed up to the live show. However, I will say that, like, at least in my opinion, the the amount of people that bought VIP tickets and VIP passes was a lot less than the amount of people who bought standard admission tickets. I would say, if I had to roughly guess, about maybe 20% of the entire audience was VIP, and then 80% was standard admission. Um, and yeah, I mean, I could probably look up how many available seats were in the theater that we were at. Um, and I could kind of try and do a rough calculation to get a more accurate, you know, percentage or number. But if I had to guess, I would say probably about, yeah, 15 to 20% of the audience was VIP and all the rest were standard admission. And I feel like, you know, me being there and seeing all the different people who were, you know, VIP ticket holders, I could realistically, you know, and logically imagine Connor, Joey, and Garnt hosting a, you know, an autograph slash picture session for the VIP members exclusively. Like, I think that they absolutely could have done it and made it work, and it wouldn't be that much of a hassle, right? Um, that's just my own personal opinion, right? But yeah, so I think that was probably the number one nitpick that I had. Um, there were some other small things that I'll bring up and I'll talk about, but these things are I'm basically grasping for straws, and I, like, this is at the very, very, very bottom of the list of things that matter, and it's like not really that important. Um, First of all, right, when I attended the event and when we were sitting in the theater, both me and my friend, who were sitting side by side, we both commented on the fact that it felt very cold in the theater, and it didn't feel like there was sufficient heating and sufficient air conditioning that was happening in the theater. Um, it definitely felt like we were kind of in an outside venue, which was um, definitely not the most comfortable that I could have been. Um, what else can I say? Another thing, right? And this is not at all, you know, caused by or something to blame on Joey, Connor, and Garnt. This is completely separate from them and has nothing to do with them. Um, the specific theater that the event took place, it had absolutely god awful, terrible cellular reception, and so, like, you know, for example, during the time frame, you know, in between the VIP Q&A session as well as the beginning of the actual main live show event, there was about an hour, right, in between. During that time, right, and also, like, after the entire live show ended, right, if you wanted to use your cell phone, right, to, you know, look something up, to check social media, to maybe message another person, blah blah blah, it was very, very difficult. I think it was absolutely a struggle to get a good signal at the theater. And, you know, they did not really provide Wi-Fi, right? So I noticed that the theater had two different Wi-Fi networks that were named after the theater. However, both of those networks were password protected, and the theater staff did not ever share the password with any of the audience members, as far as I'm aware. So that I think was a major problem. I do think that it caused a lot of frustration and annoyance with both me and my friend. Um, but again, it was not something to blame on the boys. Like, it was not their fault. They did not cause that problem. It is actually the theater's fault and the problem caused by, those who run and manage the theater. Um, and then, also, and I mean, this also applies to the whole like air conditioning heating situation. Like, that was not a problem of the Trash Taste podcast boys. It was a problem of the theater, and it was something that the theater needed to fix, right? Um, yeah. And then I think last but not least, my only other nitpick that I have is that so again, this is another problem with the theater and not with the hosts of the live show event, right? This is not something that was caused by Joey, Connor, or Garnt. Um, Basically, there were, I think there were maybe 2 or 3 different bathrooms that were located in the theater. Um, the first one was, I would consider it probably the main bathroom, right? That is where, if an audience member wanted to go and do their business and use the restroom, they would kind of automatically just, you know, go towards that bathroom. And that would be the primary, travel destination that they would go to. And then, so this bathroom was located um, kind of sort of on the ground floor. So the way that it worked, right, was um, you had the theater, and it had like, just basically the ground floor level of the theater, and it also had a second floor, right, a balcony level, um, and also it had a section known as the, I think, the lower bar section. So there was this like, declining ramp that you could go down, and there was actually a space underneath the ground floor where there was apparently a, like, just an area where you could sit at like tables or, couches or chairs or whatever, and you could chillax there, right? And you could, I think, purchase alcohol maybe, or drinks in general, and potentially you might also have been able to get food there. I'm not entirely sure, but there was essentially an area that was sort of underground, right? And the same ramp that would lead to this lower bar area of the theater, it also led to the men's restroom area. And I'm going to be completely honest. So I used the men's restroom on 2 separate occasions during, the live show event. And um, the primary bathroom, right, the main bathroom that people would flock to, it was insanely goddamn tiny. Like, basically, I think it had 3 separate like stalls with toilets where you could, sit down and do your business, right? If you're not just taking a very quick piss. So it had 3 separate toilet stalls that were, literally just neck and neck together, situated. And then it had 2 sinks for washing your hands, right? And both the sinks, they were attached to the wall and they were like literally right next to the corner toilet stall. So there was a toilet stall that was situated in the corner of the bathroom, and then like right next to it, on the wall that was, sort of running next to the stalls, you had the sinks where you wash your hands. And I think there was maybe one or two, you know, um, non-sit down toilets, the urinals, right? In the men's restroom area. And I heard someone say that one of the urinals was like, it was not functioning, and it was like off limits, and you couldn't use it, right? And yeah, so like basically it was super duper cramped in the bathroom. There was like no space to, stand at all, right? And you were kind of forced to, I guess, maneuver around people to get inside and out of the bathroom, right? To use it and do your business. Um, so that was a major problem, and the fact that this, one bathroom was considered the primary destination for the men's restroom, it made it so that I'm pretty sure both times when I went to use the restroom, there was a very long line of guys who were waiting to get into the bathroom and use the bathroom. And it was like, yeah, it felt very inefficient and non-optimal at all. It was like just a terrible, bathroom experience overall. Um, there were other restrooms. Like I know I saw one other restroom, and it was located basically on the second level of the theater where the balcony was. So you had to like walk up the stairs to the balcony area, and you had to walk around, and there was basically um a so I saw a restroom that was designated for handicapped people. I saw a men's restroom that I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that it was one of those restrooms that could only, like, only one person could enter at a time, right? It was one of those kind of personal family restrooms where, you go in, there is a single toilet, there's a single sink, and that's basically it, right? A toilet, a sink, and then the either the like towel dispenser or the hand dryer, right? Um, and I saw the men's restroom, right? It was right next to the handicap one, and then I think like if you walked further down on the second level, the balcony level, you would come across the women's restroom, which I believe was the exact same, right? A single person, single individual kind of family style restroom with one toilet, one sink, and one towel dispenser slash hand dryer. Um, and yeah, I just feel like the architectural layout and the design of the theater was very, very like outdated and very inefficient and very, um, just non-optimal at all. It was quite bad. Um, yeah, that's I think the overall kind of summary of my thoughts. I will say like towards the end of the list of things that I was naming off, a lot of the later nitpicks and complaints that I had were definitely more about the theater and not about trash taste and the boys, right? Um, yeah, so basically, the short story or the summary is that I had a fantastic, great time to go and attend this event and see the boys live rather than watching them through a PC screen, right? So I will say that one, I do not regret this experience. Like I do not regret attending this event at all. But while that is being said, right, simultaneously, I will say that, you know, if in the future, whether it's the near future or the far future, if Trash Taste does ever kind of do a similar type of event, a live tour show, and they return back to my local city and they, have an event that they're hosting, the one thing that I would probably do different is I would I think I would very likely end up purchasing standard admission tickets rather than VIP tickets, because I'm gonna be brutally truthfully honest here, right? Um, and I'm not, trying to say this in an like insulting or offensive manner towards the three boys. I do not hold the boys responsible for this, and I do not, I do not think that they are to blame for this, right? But I will say that I think the VIP tickets, right, the ones that I got, quite honestly, to be perfectly blunt, they were a waste of money. And I could have gotten the same quality experience that I did buying these VIP tickets. I can get that same exact, positive, good experience from buying standard admission tickets. Um, and to kind of give you guys an idea, right? So I bought two tickets, right? Two VIP tickets, and there was obviously taxes and fees that were added on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, um, the like basic price of one VIP ticket, um, without any added on taxes or fees, it was, I think, $150 minimum for one VIP ticket. It might have been a little bit more than 150, but I'm pretty sure it was roughly 150 was the approximate amount that I paid for one VIP ticket. And so I bought two of them, right? And basically, after added on all the taxes and the fees and whatever, all the additional charges to the price of the tickets themselves, I ended up paying a total of roughly $350 to attend this live show event. And, again, no insult, no offense to the boys. I love them, and I fully respect them. And, you know, um, this is not something that is, uh, you know, should be considered a um, negative insult, right, or offense against them. I feel like the VIP tickets are very much so overpriced, and they're not worth it. They are absolutely not worth the money that you spend. Um, yeah, I feel like if the VIP experience offered more than what it did, then you could maybe change the argument for that. However, for my experience that I had, seeing the live event in my local city, uh, I kind of do regret buying VIP tickets, and I definitely wish I would have just paid for standard admission instead. Um, yeah, yeah. And I think that's basically the main takeaway that I have from this event is that, one, the question of if Trash Taste does a similar type of live tour event in the future, would you attend? Absolutely. 120%. I would attend. Like, without any hesitation, without any doubt, I will buy tickets and I will see them again and again, right? Because I really do love the content that they create. Um, However, if I learned a lesson and if I have something to, keep in mind for future reference, I would absolutely say the next time that a live tour event happens, and there's something, happening locally in my, I guess, greater neighborhood area, that involves Trash Taste, I definitely would not pay extra money for a VIP experience that is, similar to the one that I had today. Um, yeah, but overall, if I had to like give a numerical rating, a numerical score to the quality of the live show that I attended, I would say at the very, very worst, if I were to, be super duper harsh and critical of the, experience that I had, I would say it was a solid 7 out of 10 quality live event that I attended. It was still enjoyable and entertaining, regardless. At its very best, during the moments when I was having the most fun and felt the most enjoyment, and I felt like I was, getting value out of what I paid. I would say at its best, the Trash Taste live tour event would probably be an 8 out of 10 quality live event that I attended. That would be sort of my final scoring. But yeah, no, I kind of just wanted to talk about it because, I will say that basically all the people that I know of who watch Trash Taste and who are familiar with the content that the podcast boys make, those people are all people that are sort of online friends or online acquaintances, right? Like, I don't really know anybody in my social circle in real life who, really watches Trash Taste, right? And so I thought that by creating this, sort of review video and kind of talking about my reaction and my thoughts on the live event, I could share my opinion with the world and maybe other people, right, who attended the event as well, whether you attended it in the same city I did or you attended it in a different state and in a different city. Um, if any of those people wanted to kind of add their own input, add their own, thoughts and opinions as well, then they could absolutely do so. But yeah, that'll be all for today's video. I know it was, not really super duper entertaining or eventful. It wasn't, the type of content that I'm known to put out there, right? And it's more of a personal video that I wanted to make, sort of just at the very least for myself, if not for other people. But I very much appreciate anyone and everyone who does watch this, and especially if you, want to drop your comments down below and share, your own input. It's more than welcome, and I want to thank you guys in advance if you do end up doing that. But for now, I will say farewell and goodbye. I'm going to probably get some sleep soon here, but I'll be, doing what I usually do, video gaming, watching streams or videos or whatever, and kind of just enjoying the rest of my night. But anywho, for now, that'll be all. I have been Capybara, or Copium Impact, and I will see you guys later. Alright, peace out. Bye.